Hi, a very good morning to all and welcome to a brand new week right here on BNSN, the stock game. I'm Megha Chadha.
And I'm Devina Menon. Yes, it's a brand new week and brand new experts is what we have for you. They're going to be playing it out, battling it out, so to speak, to be the winner of the stock game by the end of this week. Before we go across, introduce our guests. You already know who they are. You know their picks as well. But let's quickly run you through and explain the rules to you as to how we play the stock game. So we've got a notional amount of 5 lakh rupees and we give it to each of our experts. They have to compulsorily deploy the entire sum of 5 lakh rupees in 4 stocks. Now they can take a pick of whether they want to include one stock from the futures and options space or not in order to go short and probably even hedge their portfolios. They can go short in the cash market as well, but on a daily basis, those stocks will be squared off. Now this will keep continuing and they have to compulsorily churn 2 of their stocks on a daily basis. They'll churn more only if they have hit a target price or they have triggered a stop loss. This will continue till Friday, and by the end of the trading day on Friday, whoever makes the maximum amount of money on the 5 lakh rupees that we've given to them is the winner of the stock game. So let's not waste any more time and quickly introduce all our 3 experts to you. We've got Rajat Bose of RajatKBose.com who's joining us, and he also joins us on BNSN. We've got Lancelot Dicuna playing the stock game with us for the first time, as well as the debutant Ashish Chaturmutha from India Infoline, who's going to be playing it with us. Let's first quickly start off with the individual portfolios then, and gentlemen, if you can run us, firstly I'll come to you, Ashish, run us through the picks that you've taken as well as the targets and stop losses. We'll come to the rationale later on.
Yeah, Devina, we have taken 4 picks. First one is Gujarat Gas. Now, if you look at this counter, first of all, I would like to give we have recommended the stock at 395. Now, on downside, I'm keeping a stop loss of 385 and looking for an upside target of 434. This stock has given a breakout above 400 levels, so I think maybe it can take 2-3 days to hit that target. But I'm quite optimistic on the stock for an upside target of 434 levels. The second counter is KPIT Cummins, which we have recommended at 180 levels. Now, if you look at this stock has also given a breakout above 178 levels. We are keeping a stop loss of 176 and on upside looking for a target of 189, 190 levels. The third counter is Wockhardt Pharma. This stock we have given at 395 and with a stop loss of 387, looking for an upside target of 413. The fourth counter is a short side Aurobindo futures, where this counter is continuously making a lower top lower bottom formation, so we have recommended a short at 169.55, recommending a stop loss of 170 to 60 and looking for a downside target of 161.60 levels.
Okay, and Lancelot, coming across to you, your portfolio's got all buy calls. Run us through that quickly, please.
Yeah, the first stock that I have recommended is BCB, which is presently trading around 62 levels, and I've got a target price of 65 with a stop loss at 58. And then I have LIC Housing Finance, which is trading at about 217 with a target of 226 and a stop loss of 205. I also have Phoenix Mills, which is trading at about 212 with a target price of 224 and a stop loss of 198. And Entertainment Network India Limited, which is 267 it was trading at, and 285 is my target price with a stop loss of 253.
Alright, so that is Lancelot's long only portfolio. Coming to you, Rajat, you've taken a good blend, a 50-50 mix between your longs and your shorts. Run us through your portfolio.
Yeah, as you said, I would provide an executive summary of the position and would only give the trades and not the rationale. And by the way, I'm not a brand new one, maybe an old hand at this. This is my 4th appearance perhaps on your game. The trades are HDIL, it's a buy, and with a stop loss of 170.85 and 177.85 is the target. Sri Renuka Sugar, that's also a buy, but entering at 73.9 with a target of entering at 74.85, 73.9 is the stop loss, and 77.50 is my target. And I have 2 sell trades. One is an Infosys sell at 76.55, 3011 is the stop loss, and 2927 is the target. And Nifty July future, that's also a sell. Stop loss 5706 and 5630. The primary reason behind these short and long trade mix is that I'm not too certain as to which direction the market is going to take. In that case, best is to spread yourself both sides.
All right, that's Roger Bose's portfolio. HDI, Sri Renuka having a swell run over the last week. Infosys and Nifty, both of them are a short. Remember, Infosys is a short in the cash market, so we will square it off by the end of the trading session. On to individual stocks, and let's go across to Ashish. And the first stock that he's got in his portfolio, Gujarat Gas. Ashish is the one that you've gone long as. Give us the rationale behind why you've selected this one.
Yeah, Devina. First of all, if you look at this counter on weekly charts, it has given a breakout of a triangle above 395 levels, and it has even made a kind of inverted head and shoulder, and the breakout of that comes at around 405 levels. So looking into both of this pattern formation, it is giving a sense that this stock can give a 8 to 10% upside in coming days. Now, definitely to judge the timing is quite a difficult thing, that whether the stocks can hit the target in next 2-3 trading sessions or whether they will hit in next 1 or 2 weeks. But definitely, if I look at it on a positional basis, it is looking quite strong to me. Now, on downside, I think the risk is quite low. 395 is a stop, 385 is a stop loss. 395 is a stop loss which one can initiate long position in the stock. And on upside, I'm looking for an 8 to 9% upside from the current levels. The second counter is KPIT Cummins. Yep.
We will come to KPIT Cummins in the second round, but that is the rationale for Ashish and the first stock that he has in, which is Gujarat Gas. Not being able to give you a timeline as to when it will achieve it, but has seen two positive patterns forming on the charts for Gujarat Gas, and that's why he's recommending a buy call on that one. Let's quickly go on to Lancelot's first pick, and he's got a DCB Limited. Lancelot, a buy call coming in on this one.
Yeah, my calls are more fundamental,
sure.
Given a little bit of momentum. I feel DCB has been actually involved in a restructuring exercise over the last few quarters, and with the recent IndusInd Bank results coming out, I feel there could be some momentum in the stock. If you look at it from a valuation perspective, DCB is fairly attractively valued because it's trading at about 1.7 times price to book, and has been consistently over the last few quarters bringing down its NPAs, increasing its CASA, which is now at about 35%. So the bank is really on a traction move upside. So I think you will see fairly good response on this bank. Maybe the target price should be hit because given the fact that results on banking side are positive, so we could see some momentum on the stock which will flow onto the banking from the banking space onto DCB. So that's my rationale for this stock.
Okay, so good momentum pick and a fundamental pick at that coming in on a development credit back. But Rajat, your first pick for the day is HDIL from the Realty pack, and we've seen the counter largely remain range bound since April. We've got a couple of brokerage calls also coming on that. Most of the brokerage houses turning quite positive on this one. So why have you picked this today?
Primarily, I have picked up to play the game because Realty had been the sector on last Friday that showed some traction when other stocks were losing ground. And what I felt is that if you notice the early part of June, this stock traded between say 180.75 and 176. So keeping a target of 177.85 is not a very hefty target to achieve on the upside, and I've kept a stop loss that is pretty close to the last closing level. So even if my understanding goes wrong, as I said that I'm not too certain as to which direction the market is going to take, then I'm not going to lose much money. Yet on the upside, if it manages to hit the target, I would make some money on the upside as well. That was the basic rationale. But technically speaking, unless it crosses 181 decisively, there is no fresh buy as such for a trader or an investor who is looking to play beyond the day.
All right, so 181 is a level that you need to watch out for in order to see a clear upside there in that counter. Remember, last week was a good week, not just for the the top rung real estate counters, but even for the likes of the DB Realty. The last 7 days have been fairly spectacular, and Anant Raj, the kind of moves you've seen on all of these counters in the last 7 days. HDL itself, along with the Unitech, was up closer to 8.5%. That's DB Realty for you, 15.5% higher in the last 7 days, and Anant Raj was higher by about 18.5%. Ashish, would you probably concur to Rajat's assessment of what real estate as a pack is doing right now?
Yeah, I would agree with Rajat's view as we are looking some kind of buying interest emerging in counters like HDIL, Indiabulls Real Estate, and even in Bombay Dying. These counters have seen a build-up of around 7 to 8% on long side in F&O segment as well. Now, if you look at HDIL, yes, definitely this counter is looking. It has given a breakout above 172 levels. Maybe there can be some kind of consolidation, but I think this counter can hit 185, 186 levels in couple of trading sessions.
Alright, that's the call on real estate from Ashish as well. But let's focus on stock number 2 of all our 3 experts. We've got KPIT Cummins, that's Ashish's second pick. The stock is higher by about 1 odd percent, but very, very close to its monthly high, which is at about 185, Ashish.
Yeah, Devina, if you look at this counter, it has given a weekly breakout above 180 levels. It has been consolidating near its all-time high level, so that gives a sense that a lot of long accumulation has been happening in the stock. If you look at the volumes on 2 days, 3 days back, we have seen a very strong volume activity in the stock, and it has been consolidating around those levels, so that gives a sense that its stock is in a strong hands. On upside, I think this stock can move beyond its all-time high of 192 levels in couple of trading sessions. But to make it conservative, we have kept a target of 189 levels in the stock, and on downside kept a very small stop loss of 176 levels in KPIT Cummins.
Okay. And Lancelot, coming to you, you've got an LIC Housing Finance as your next pick with a target about 226. That counters up about 2% in the session currently. We did see it lose quite a bit in the last, over the last week. We've on the buzz that probably we could be seeing a bit of an earnings downgrade coming in, but you've got a buy call on that one today.
Yes, I have a buy call because I believe that LIC Housing Finance will actually show a growth. Given the fact that it has consistently grown over the last few quarters, and though you may see some amount of net interest margin compression because of the overall growth, I still see that there would be an earnings growth of between 20 to 25%. So in terms of valuations, the stock is good and relatively safe, and it has come off its recent high of about 240 and come down to this level of 217, 218, which is makes it fairly attractive, because at this level it's trading at about 2.7 times its FY 13 book value, and that's pretty cheap compared to HDFC and the others. We also saw HDFC results come out on Saturday, which showed fairly good growth, and the net interest margins were protected, although fee income did help. But given the fact that LIC Housing is now going aggressive, and you could see some people taking a cue from HDFC results, I felt this is a good buy call for maybe a week, but even if you hold on for longer period, you'll benefit from the stock.
Alright, choosing an LIC Housing Finance, even though the last 7 days have not particularly been good, but he's chosen it on a day when the stock has risen about 2%. 226 is the target price on an LIC Housing Finance. Remember, HDFC numbers came on bang on with street estimates, but there was some bit of profit taking that brought the counter down. Once again, HDFC is lower by about 1.5% right now. Rajat, given a choice between LIC and HDFC, would you also do what Lancelot has done, pick out an LIC Housing?
I would say today LIC Housing is a better deal, because LIC Housing has a lot of, it's still the results are going to be published, whereas for HDFC, whatever you needed to know already known. So from a trader's perspective who is looking at a short term, LIC Housing is definitely a better deal.
Alright, from a trader's perspective, LIC Housing is definitely a better pick. HDFC, the numbers are out in the open, trading has already been done and some profit has already been taken off the table for that counter. So LIC Housing Finance can see scope for traders. On to your stock, your second stock, Rajat, and Sri Renuka Sugars. A swell run for all of the sugar counters last week. We've got anticipation of decontrol of sugar prices, as well as import duties staying at nil for the next 2 months for white sugar as well. So a lot of positive triggers coming about for the sugar space as a whole. You picked out a Sri Renuka, which has shown the strongest move last week.
Yeah, sugar is really sweet around this time, at least for the last couple of weeks. It has been so, and I expect that at least Sri Renuka would move up to something like 78 to 80 kind of levels, and in that case my target will be met and I stand to make some money. This is a good trade because its relative strength has been pretty good. The uptrend in the recent past from the third week of June until today, I think is pretty strong. A very steady uptrend, so one can bet on it on the long side, even though the market seems to be a bit wobbly. And generally sugar maintains its own trajectory and doesn't follow the Nifty so much. So I had to choose a stock whose correlation with the index would be less compared to others, because Nifty as it is was showing some weakness, as my fourth trade would suggest.
All right, but an unfortunate on a Sri Renuka, stop loss getting triggered there. But very tight stop loss is actually what Rajat had kept. So around 73.9 was the stop loss. The stock is currently at 74.9. Very, very flat in today's session. On to the calculator plates and tell you who's taking the lead at this point in time. Remember, this is not an indication of who's going to win, because this is just the first day of the week. But this is just to give you a clear direction. Walk hard is Ashish is picked. He's got Gujarat Gas, KPI Carbons, Aurobindo July Futures, and overall making 6,200 rupees at this point in time. Coming to Lancelot's portfolio, once again a sea of green across the board for him as well. Gains coming in a Phoenix Mills at 5%. LIC Housing Finance doing well for him. 8,800 rupees is what Lancelot is making. And coming to Rajat's portfolio, he's lost out on Sri Lanka Sugar, but no worries there. The other three making good money for him. Infosys, Nifty, as well as HDL working out for him. He's making about 3,000 odd rupees right now. We'll slip into a short break, but we've got stocks number 3 and stocks number 4 to discuss with our 3 experts right now. You want to know the rationale? Come back. We'll talk more.
And here's how you can participate on BNSN. You can write into us with all your queries regarding mutual funds or stocks. You could email us at bnsn@etnow.tv. You could also SMS us BNSN followed by a query to 58888. You could also call in and join us live on 022 248 111. Good to have you back with us right here on BNSN, the stock game on ET Now. Well, let's go right back to our experts then and start with their picks number 3. And Ashish, you've got Walkout as your next one with a target of about 413 odd. You know, that counter, we saw a bit of a gap down opening today, but we've got a bit of fundamental news that they could be possibly getting a tentative approval for an anti-depression drug in US as well.
Yeah, if I look at this counter have chosen purely on a price volume activity. If you look at 4-5 days of volume activity, the stock has seen a very strong volume at a higher levels of around 390-400 levels. So that gives a sense that there is a lot of long positions being built up in the counter. Now there can be some consolidation in a range of 390 to 400 levels, but I think the way the stock has moved almost from 350 to 400 levels, there can be a fast up move till 415, 420 levels. So for as a conservative target, I have kept 413 as a target in the stock, and on downside looking for kept a very small stop loss of 387 levels.
All right, that is Walk Hard, and the last 7 days about 8% higher is where we have seen it. Some flashes on your screens. I am revising the growth targets there for the auto sector. We've got some movement and some downward bias coming in into some of these automotive stocks. Or Maruti Suzuki has declined, but is still just about 0.3% high. FY12 growth target lower to 11 to 13%. Remember the kind of auto sales numbers we just got for the month of June. They were also not highly exciting. In fact, on the lower side for most of them. Car sales for FY12 go to fall to 10 to 12% versus 16 to 18% estimated. So that is a bleak forecast coming in for the auto industry. Away from that, on to the third stock that is coming in from Lancelot's portfolio. Lancelot, let's talk about a Phoenix Mills, which is really working wonders for you today.
Well, like Rajat had said, I picked up this stock because the real estate segment actually had got beaten down, and there are still some good stocks available in that space. So Phoenix Mills was one of the stocks that I had been advocating for some time. And in the last few days, they've launched their Pune mall, which is actually going to add almost 50 crores of rental revenue to them. They've also been able to secure 80% of their rentals from the Pune mall. So in a sense, Phoenix is reasonably valued, and you could see this uptrend that we've seen it from 193 levels moving on, carry it forward to my target price of about 224. That's why I'd chosen Phoenix Mills as as the third stock for today's trade.
Right, so a target on a Phoenix Mills, in fact, getting achieved right there, 224, currently placed at about 221 on the last tick. But Rajat, your next pick is Infosys. Now ahead of the results, we've seen quite a bit of a downtick come in that counter today. It's currently down about 2%. You've got a sell call on that one with a target of 29.27, and in fact that's been achieved in the morning as well.
Yeah, Infosys, the way it has moved up in the recent past and prior to its results being published, I think it would have gone into some kind of a correction. And the only thing is that this was a safe sell. That was the reason why I chose this, that chances are that following the pattern it would go down even today, and maybe after the results there could be some recovery. So today still you can play on the short side, and I kept an achievable target, and I'm happy that the target has been achieved out there. Infosys, by the way, between say 2850 and 2800, there is already strong support out there. So we need to see whether Infosys falls below those levels tomorrow or not. If it doesn't, then you will see some kind of a bounce back once the results are published, and if there are no major disappointments, then there would be a recovery.
All right, Infosys target getting achieved there. A short call is what Rajat had given, and it is way below its target price right now. So target getting triggered and the stock moving down further in the session. Remember, 2800 to 2850, like Rajat pointed out, is a support level. But remember, tomorrow is also a very important day because Infosys comes up with its Q1 numbers. Lancelot, in that light, what is your expectation of Infosys and the kind of Q1 numbers that it can post? Because the street is clearly estimating an up move of 3% on the sales front, PAT to be seen down by 6%.
Well, yes, I think Infosys is undergoing a period of restructuring and a management change, which is going to bring about some consolidating change in the company. So I do see there could be some short-term stress in terms of its earnings estimates. But if you look at it from maybe a 1 year or 2 year perspective, I think you are going to see times when Infosys will build on its base, because it's a very strong company, has fairly good network outside India, and in the IT space is one of the major players. So I would say I would not really go on short in Infosys for the long term, but really wait for opportunities to buy into the company, as it sort of gets this short-term pain, because in the long run you will see Infosys outperform over a period of time.
Okay, so an Infosys outperforming over the longer term, but for the short term a bit of pain for that counter. But Lancelot, Ashish, actually coming to you for your next pick. You've got an Aurobindo future, and we've got a sell call on that counter with a target about 161.
Yeah, this is one counter which is continuously making a lower top, lower bottom formation after testing almost 180 levels. Again, the stock has started to correct with the volumes on downside, so that is giving a sense that a lot of shorts are getting dominated in the stock. But there can be some support at around 165, 166, but looking into the pattern formation, it suggests that there can be a breakdown below 165 and the stock can move towards 160 levels. So I've initiated a short call with a stop loss of 170 to 60 and looking for a downside target of 160, 160 levels in next 1 to 2 trading sessions.
Alright, I'm still working around a good move there on the downside, which is working in favor of Ashish because he's given a short call on Aurobindo. 0.7% low, 168.5 is where it's currently trading, and hopefully by the end of trading session he should be able to achieve his target if the momentum carries on the downside. On to Lancelot, and your last and final stock which you've selected is from the media space, particularly ENL is the one that you have, and last week we saw a swell run post the FDI being hiked from 20 to 26%, as well as the third phase of radio expansion getting approval. But keeping in mind that it's already run up so much, Lancelot, do you see further up move coming into an ENL?
Well, I would look at it from a perspective that you could get a little bit more up move, because this stock is relatively under-owned. So most investors, especially institutional investors, hadn't really bought into the stock early on. And with the announcement of FDI going up to 26%, I expect that there may be a little bit more momentum, and so we should see a little bit more upside on the stock.
Okay, so that's a call coming in on an ENIL. But Rajat, your last pick for today, you've gone short on Nifty futures with a target about 56.30.
I would say so close yet so far. 56.30 was the target for me, and 56.36, if I'm not mistaken, is an intraday low. and I still believe that 5630 target will be achieved, and after that we need to see, because as I said that Nifty and the pivotals, they had been looking weak, so it was very much warranted that you initiate short positions in them, and I tried to balance them out with a realty and a sugar stock. But I compliment Lancelot because he chose media and realty, because media and realty had been the star performers on last Friday, and but however representation of realty is not much in the Nifty, so Nifty was a safe shot that way, and I've chosen a target that is achievable. I still believe 5630 would be achieved, and 5580 to about 5540 is a major support area for the Nifty. Unless that is broken, this is just a pullback corrective swing that is happening. We would get opportunity to go long again.
All right, that's the call coming in on Nifty by Rajat. He's got a short call on this one. Rajat, one stock from you, a comment on one stock for people who already hold that counter in their portfolios. I know you couldn't pick that one up in your portfolio because it's been hitting circuits for the last 3 days in a row, and that one is an SKS Microfinance. Today, once again, locked up an upper circuit at about 10%. What does one do with it now, if at all they do have it in their portfolio and they've made that 50-60% return on it?
You see, your last part of the question actually made my answering a bit easier job, in the sense that if you have made 50-60% on a stock, and that's a fair bit of money, in that case definitely you should seek an exit, because I've always seen in my 2 decades of stock market experience that if you are getting supernormal profits in a short while, you should always pick that money and go home, because if you leave that money aside in the market, then the market will actually take the money away from you. So that way it is definitely an easy job to do. But then suppose if somebody was planning to enter and not been able to, these Johnny-come-latelys are best warned that don't enter into a stock that has been hit in circuits and has already moved up by 50% in the recent past in a very short while. You would be well advised not to dabble in such a stock.
All right, so SKS Microfinance, people who hold it probably take a cue from the fact that you've already made a good 60% in the last 7 days and move out. So people looking to enter, this is not the right time. Probably just stay out of this counter. Take you through calculator plates then, and a final tally on this show at least as to where our experts stand. So pull up, firstly, Ashish Chatmuta's portfolio. Green across the board, making good money on all of his counters, the Gujarat Gas, even an Aurobindo July futures, all in all 1.2% on his portfolio, 6,000 odd rupees is what he is making. Lancelot Dukuna, and this is how his portfolio stands, just losing out on an ENIL, but meeting his target on the Phoenix Mills, and total portfolio profit of about 6,900, closer to 7,000 rupees. And Rajat Bose, this is his portfolio. He's stopped out on a Sri Renuka and met a target on Infosys. Nifty also making money for him. He's making an overall portfolio gain of about 2,600 rupees. On that note, I'd like to take our time to thank each of our experts for joining us in this leg of the stock game. This is just the start of the week. We'll see you same time tomorrow once again to discuss your new portfolios. Ashish, Lancelot and Rajat, thanks very much. Rajat, however, stays back for Buy Now, Sell Now, where we will be taking on a portfolio in a short bit from now.
Well, and so that's exactly what's coming up. But here's how you can participate on Buy Now, Sell Now. You can write into us with all your stock queries at bnsn@etnow.tv. You could also SMS us bnsn at 58888. You could also call in live. Join us at 022 2483 7111.